Welcome back to the Junkman, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with a new video. And today I'm going to tell you the story about a young kid that changed Star Wars marketing forever. Okay, maybe I'm being a little dramatic. Let's get into this story. Leaving the theater after seeing Star Wars in 1977, every kid was saying the same thing. Where do I get a lightsaber? Just like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader used, and Luke Skywalker used for about 45 seconds. Well, the kids would rush to the store to pick up the best thing they could find, but they could find very little, as the official Kenner lightsaber wouldn't be released until 1978. And when kids found that one, they wasn't too happy, because it was just a balloon on a cheap flashlight. Let's be honest, I love Kenner, but these were horrible. It was just a clear tube that hooked to a lightsaber. And you couldn't really fight with them because they would pop so easy. They even came with a repair kit because they knew kids were going to pop them pretty fast. But there was another problem besides this. Most stores didn't even have it, at least in the early part of Star Wars fever. Kenner was way behind on production. They were of course caught with their toy pants down of how many people would want Star Wars toys after the release of the film. So as they were trying to play catch up by producing more of them, stores were running out. There were some knockoff lightsabers hitting the stores, and those were pretty disappointing. For one thing, most of them didn't light up, and they were having the same problem Kenner was. They were hard to find at retail, selling out, and being weeks or months before stores would get more. Well, one little kid, Joyce, he wasn't having any of that. If he couldn't find a lightsaber at a store, he would just have to make one himself. But hold on, don't feel too sorry for this kid, because his dad ran a hardware store in Rochester, Michigan, called Stack All. And that was the perfect place to find all the things he needed to make his own lightsaber. So 12-year-old John went to work. He was already inventing new and exciting things. In fact, he had already worked on a perpetual motion machine that would run forever. But sadly, he could never get it to work as he hoped, saying he now knew how Da Vinci felt about flying. Not only was John going to make himself a lightsaber, he was going to sell them at his father's hardware store. The homemade lightsaber was pretty simple. He would take a flashlight and attach a long plastic tube that would reflect the light. How he came up with this is unknown. But sometimes things just pop in the head of a genius, and no one can really explain it. Today you may be saying anyone could come up with that, but this is something even Kenner at the time couldn't come up with. John made his prototype, and after a few modifications, his lightsaber was ready. But John knew he couldn't sell it in the store as a lightsaber. He didn't want the lawyers from 20th Century Fox, Lucasfilm, or Kenner to come at him. So he branded his flashlight on a pole as the Star Force Ray. Taking cheap plastic tubes and buying cheap flashlights in bulk, the Star Force Ray was born. And John was convinced that kids would go wild for anything having to do with outer space. And he was right. The Star Force Ray was starting to be sold all over the Mid-East, selling about 20,000 of them during the Christmas holiday season of 1977. An order was placed for about 10,000 of them to be made, hoping kids would still want to buy them up in 1978. John was one of 6 kids in the family, and his parents did the best to play down the child prodigy, refusing to call him a genius, at least around him and his siblings. But at the age of 12, this 8th grader was not only making his own bootleg Star Wars lightsabers better than Kenner was, he was already studying high school algebra and French. Bon sweet! And John didn't play around with his toy. He didn't want some other toy company to come along and take his plan. So he filed and got a Star Force Ray patent. Him and his sister would even model for the toy ad photos. Best of all, not only did John get the lightsaber toy he always wanted, he was getting a cut of the profit for selling them. That is what you call a win-win. When asked what he thought about his Star Force Ray, John summed it up best, even better than the kids buying it could have. I think they're really neat, he told the Detroit Free Press. He went on to say that he likes to take it outside in the snow and swing it around or whatever. Who knows, John? Maybe that's how Lucas came up with the whole plan for Hoth in The Empire Strikes Back. I was hoping to end this story by telling you 20th Century Fox, Lucasfilm, and Kenner came to the hardware store and sued the turtleneck off this kid and forcing the hardware store to go out of business as they fought in court over 10 years. But I can't tell you that because the story seems to go cold. Whatever happened to the lightsaber maker Joyce? I spent over 15 minutes trying to find him online, but that name, as odd as it sounds, seems to be very popular, or at least very popular in Minnesota. So maybe you can help me. Are you Joyce? Do you know Joyce, the maker of the Star Force Ray? I would love to know what happened to him, and maybe get him on the channel to talk about this incredible story. And who knows what other inventions he may have come up with. He might be out there somewhere right now selling bootleg Star Wars Lightsaber at some local Michigan flea market, making millions of dollars. Well, if you know what happened to John Joyce, let me know in the comments section. And I want to hear your thoughts about this story. Was John Joyce really the genius of his day? Or did he just get lucky? Let me know that and more in the comments below. And as always, thumbs up if you like my content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.